Hi, this is Rick, and I'd like to welcome you to this tutorial on Amazing Grace. We are going to learn a little bit about chord theory in a simplified way and learn about how to apply some of the cues from gospel piano into this song. We're going to give it a gospel flavor, I'll say. It's not really hardcore gospel, but some gospel and country cues. Let me first play the song and see if you like this version of it. If you don't, you can move on. If you want to stick around after you hear it, please do, and I'll do my best to tell you how to play it that way. So that's what we're shooting for, and we're going to start with the simple structure of the song, and we'll build up to the more complex chords and techniques, and hopefully I won't lose too many of you. I understand it's impossible to do a tutorial that is right for everybody's level where they're at. So I realize this will be above some people and it'll be far below others. I apologize for that. Hopefully you'll be able to get something out of it. If you don't, I am sorry about that. But let me show you what I know and see what you can use in your own playing to improve. Okay, we want to start with the simple structure of this song. We're going to do it in the key of F. And why are we doing it in the key of F, and what does that mean? The melody covers a range of 1 octave, and for this song, if you play it in the key of F, the melody goes from C to C, and that's a comfortable singing range for most people. So this is a real good key to play this in if you want to play it for people to sing along, or if you want to sing. That's a typical range. Again, some people would be higher and lower than that, but that's a good group singing range. Most hymnals, you'll see this in the key of G, and it goes from D to D. This high D, a lot of people have trouble with anymore because people don't sing all that much anymore, and you tend to be squeaky on that. So I like it in F instead of G. Nothing wrong with G, but I think F makes it a little bit easier to sing because you end up sitting on this high note at the end of the second phrase of the song, people sometimes have trouble with that. So that's why we're doing it in F instead of G. E is also a nice key. That would be a B to B range, but I didn't want to get into 4 sharps and scare you all away, so we're just going to do it in F with 1 flat. So what does it mean to be in the key of F? Well, it means the song is going to be built around an F scale, an F major scale, which is this. We have 1 flat in the key of F. B flat is the 4th note of the scale. We're going to number these. A lot of what chords I refer to are going to be based on what number of the scale they are centered on. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 8th we're back around and we're up an octave from the 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the ones we're interested in. So this song can be played in a simple manner using only the 1st, 4th, and 5th chords. What are chords? Well, in the key of F, we're going to build an F chord by taking the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of an F scale. So that's F, A, and C. That's an F major chord. That's a 1 chord. It's a major chord built on the 1st note of the scale. The main chords that are used in the key of F are the 1, 4, and 5. So that's our 1 chord. Let's go up to our 4 chord. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting from B flat, we want to take the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of a B flat scale, which is this, this, and this. B flat, D, and F. So that's our 4 chord. And the 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully you recognize 1, 3, and 5 in the key of C, C, E, and G. So those 3 chords, we can play this song in a simple manner using only an F chord, an B flat 4 chord and a C5 chord. Let's do that just so you see what we're talking about. This style of not style, technique I'm going to use to play this is called block chording, and I'll discuss some more about what that means. Essentially what I'm doing is playing the melody of the song with the top couple fingers of my right hand. I'm filling in the rest of the chord with the bottom fingers of my right hand, and I'm playing a bass line with my left hand. The advantage of that is that you can do things independently, keep your bass independent from your chords, and you can do some nice things with that to make the song sound full. If you learn this out of a piano book, you may learn to play it something like this, where you play chords in your left hand. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's not the optimal way to play the song to make it sound rich. I want to play it in this block chord style, where I'm playing a simplified left hand. Instead of playing chords in my left hand, I'm playing bass notes like a bass guitar player would, single notes for the most part, with my left hand, playing the melody with the top part of my right hand and the chords with the bottom part of my right hand. So if you're counting, this way it gives you a total of 2 different things, chords and melody. And this way, block chording, as I'm going to show you, gives you 3. You have your melody, your chords, and your bass. So you have 3 things going on at the same time. Gives you a lot more flexibility in how you play the song. So let me play this simply block chord style. Watch for the melody in the top of the right hand, the chords in the bottom of the right hand. I'll name the chords as I go, and with my left hand, for right now, I'm just going to play the name of the chord that I'm on with my left hand. So I'm starting on F. Now I'm going to my 4 chord B flat, back to my 1 chord, to my 5 chord, back to 1, 4, 1, still on 1, going to go to 5, back to 1. Nothing wrong with that either. I hope that sounds more pleasant to you than this style. This muddiness down here in the chords, that's not really very attractive. It's much nicer to have the chord spread out up here where these notes are pleasant. This is more pleasant to hear than this. This is muddy, this is clean. We don't want muddy, we want clean. Okay, so that's our simple version of it, and if that's where you're at in your abilities, try to learn that and forget the rest of the video, because from here we're going to go out into looking at substituting more complex chords and stylistic cues from gospel and country to make this song sound like you know what you're doing in that style. Not that I know what I'm doing in that style. This is just things I've picked up from playing and listening to different recordings and different players. I'm certainly not a gospel expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I've picked up some of the techniques, and hopefully it sounds like Presbyterian gospel, if nothing else. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start the song simply, just like we did in the simple version. For this next chord, instead of staying here with my left hand, I'm going to come up to the 3rd, which is an A note, 1, 2, 3. And in my right hand, instead of just playing the F chord, I'm going to play an F7th chord. I'm going to add this note into it. So in the simple version, we were doing this. In the more complex version, I'm going to do this. Got the F7th here and the A note down here, the 3rd. That just gives the song, the sound, more interest, and it also, that 1-7 chord pushes you into the 4 chord strongly. When your ear hears, the next thing your ear wants to hear is this 4 chord. So that's just a cue as to where the song's going. And you can get away without doing that. You don't have to put that in, but that's the way I'm going to play it, and I think that makes the song stronger. Next chord I'm going to go to is a 6th minor chord, and in my key of F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 6th note. That's the minor chord. Probably going to play a minor 7th actually, we'll see. Yeah, I am going to play a minor 7th. I added this note into it. That would just be the D minor. This note into it adds a little bit of richness to it. Left hand, I'm just playing the D. Actually, what I want to do to get to that D, if you remember, the chord prior to this D minor 7 was an F. And what I'm going to do is chromatically, meaning playing every single note with no spaces in between, I'm going to walk down from the F to the D. I'm going to do one of these. So here's what we got. Here comes the walk down. Again, just a gospelish cue that is common to that style. I'm going to go to a G7 chord. G is the 2nd note of the F scale. I'm building a major chord with the 7th in it, so that's a G chord. I'm spreading it out and adding in the F, which is the 7th. The melody is up here on the A, so it actually gives you the sound of a G9 for anybody who's keeping track. And then I'm going to switch to a G minor 7 to a C. So again, let's go through that. D minor 7, G7, G minor 7, C. Okay, let's play the whole first phrase, and you can stop the video and loop on that and see if you can make it happen yourself. Walk down. Now, I bet you figured out by now that whenever I went from here to here, playing a dotted half note on each of those, or whatever, I guess it's yeah, dotted half note, 3 beats on that, 3 beats on that. I want to do something more interesting, so I did a walk down here. If you were paying attention, I'm going to, instead of doing a walk down, I'm going to do a walk up, starting on the note G. When I get to the G chord, I'm playing octaves down here. These are the same note, both top and bottom finger. So I filled out that hole. Okay, let's play the whole first phrase, all of that together. Okay, we're up to our second line, third phrase of the song. We're going to play it essentially the same as the beginning of the song. 1 chord with the 3 in the bass. 4 chord. Next chord I'm going to go to is a 3 minor 7. We are in the key of F. I'm going to go to an A minor 7. 1, 2, 3. Minor 7, building an A minor 7. Here comes the A minor 7, nice jazzy chord, and keeping in that same jazzy theme, we're going to go to a G minor 7, which we covered earlier. Now, next thing I'm going to do, this is going to make an extended chord. Notice where my right hand is, that G minor 7th chord. I'm going to keep those notes, and I'm going to change to a C in the bass. Now that sounds, if you're if you're not familiar with jazz chords, that looks wrong because there's no C here. But what I'm doing is building a complex C chord which has it happens to have these notes of the G minor 7th in it. That's a rich chord that does a lot to your ears. Fills up a very wide range across the keyboard. So that's still that G minor 7th. The melody is an A on top, and I'm playing a C in the bass. And then the last note of the last chord of the song is an F. But I'm not going to go straight to the F. I'm going to go from a 4 chord to a 1 chord. Now, why am I doing that? If you didn't notice, this sounds like something that you may have heard on a hymn before. 4 to 1 is how you put an amen on the end of a hymn. So I've kind of built an amen into the song without playing an amen. And I'm going to dress that up a little bit, just like I did when I had my quarter notes in the middle at the end of the second phrase where I wanted to do something where I did my walk up. I'm going to do a walk down to finish this out. And I'm going to have my right hand follow along with it. These are thirds. These notes are a third or apart. So my amen is still there, and I filled in the spaces in between. And I filled them simply. Maybe that's a good way to play it. Just for the sake of argument, though, instead of doing this, I could do something more complicated by rolling back and forth as I go down that pattern. So instead of, I could do this. Only I wouldn't make any mistakes. And you can break that into pieces, so you could have this followed by this followed by this, and don't do this piece of it and just end it, so you'd have. So I kept that simple, complicated, simple. I could also make the second piece of that descending thing complicated and leave the third one simple. So there's 4 ways to accomplish the same thing. Just do this, simple, complicated, and then the mix of the two. Or, I forget, did I do those 2 different? Or, so learn those. Work through all 4 combinations of those so you can pick which one you want to choose. When you get to that point in the song, just play whichever one feels best to you at that time. Okay, let's run through the song one more time as a piece. I'm going to do the intro and the ending in a separate video because this took too much to do this one. Those are a little more involved, and I want to talk more about how I decided on how to do the intro and the ending. So I don't want this video to be any longer than it already is. But let's play the song one more time, and I hope this was useful to you. Feel free to leave questions in the comments. I'll try to answer anything that I'm capable of answering, or I'll give you question marks if I have no idea what you're talking about. Since it's YouTube, feel free to make fun of my inability to explain myself and how bad my camera is and all the other things that video people love to do on YouTube. I'll take it for what it's worth. Thanks for joining me.